This exact time last year, I was in a hospital bed waiting impatiently for my release. I've never been one to have much concern about my health. When you're young, you don't expect bad things like your lung collapsing to happen. But you can be quite certain that I'm health conscious now, and I advise everyone else to be also. Because who would want to be stuck in a hospital on Halloween, hooked up to machines, and eating things that don't look or taste like food when you should be eating candy? My horrible experience began at the 1st of October 1 year ago, and I don't think I'll forget a single thing. One day, it just began to be a huge struggle for me to breathe. I was sent to get x-rays of my chest to find that one of my lungs was 50% collapsed. There was no rhyme or reason to it collapsing, it just happened. And to this day, there is no explanation for it. Is that not the weirdest thing that you ever heard? The doctors call it a spontaneous pneumothorax, and I definitely understand why the word spontaneous is used. I was immediately sent to the emergency room where I sat in the waiting room and waited for about 30 minutes before I was sent back to do paperwork. I'm sorry, but I feel that if someone is sent to the emergency room because one of their lungs isn't working, shouldn't the waiting room and paperwork be skipped? This is the first reason on my list of reasons to hate a hospital. I later had a tube put in my side to get all of the air out from in between my lungs. This procedure, which I might add they don't put you to sleep for, was supposed to do its job in a couple of days and I would be fixed and ready to go home. However, my body didn't want to cooperate, so I was in the hospital many more days, anxiously waiting for the tube to start working. When the doctors finally decided that it wasn't going to work, I was sent into the surgery room, which looked more like a morgue in my opinion. I was laid on sandbags and given medicine to knock me out while they were explaining the purpose for the sandbags, so I really don't remember the reason. When I finally came back to life from the surgery, I had the most loopy and out of it feeling, which is about the only reason I didn't mind that another tube was in my side. But between the tube and the surgery, my lung finally started to do what it was supposed to do, and I was released about a week longer of what I felt like was torture. I advise everyone to be conscious of your health and try your hardest to avoid a hospital visit for many reasons other than the ones you can conclude from my story. One reason is that you literally get no fresh air or sunlight. You're shut up in a very tiny room with one window. The window doesn't even open, and I can think of a few reasons why. I went into the hospital wearing shorts and a t-shirt. When I finally went outside to go home, I needed a jacket and a scarf. I missed a full weather change when I was shut up in the box-sized room. My only view of outside was through a window. You don't realize how great fresh air and sunlight is until that's taken away from you. My second reason that you should avoid a hospital is because if you think you're going to be able to rest and sleep, you're sadly mistaken. Nurses come in to check on you around the clock. It could be 12 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the morning, but someone will be in there to wake you up and make sure you're still alive. Another thing that prevented my sleep was the daily x-rays they felt the need to do at 5 o'clock every morning. It never failed that someone would come in and get me and put me in a wheelchair and wheel me down the creepy and cold hallways to get my chest x-ray. And lastly, you will never be able to sleep comfortable enough because you have to sleep on your back no matter what. And I felt like more like I was sleeping in a casket than a bed. My last and most important reason is the food. I know hospital food is made fun of in movies, but I always thought it was over-exaggerated. However, that's not the case. Most of the things I was served didn't even look like food, and of course I can't eat something if it doesn't look edible. The taste of the food wasn't much better than how it looked. I felt as if I was in jail between the food and the lack of freedom. Hospitals are a very unpleasant place to be. However, it did save my life. I am very grateful for it, even though it might not seem like it. They really are trying their best, and I wouldn't be alive today without the nurses and doctors. I am very thankful for that, even though there are plenty of things that could have been more pleasant. This is why it is best to stay healthy and away from the hospital.